Hey everyone, welcome back to PokeMarketLab. Happy New Year. Yesterday's video we talked about winners and losers from the sealed product in 2024 in the Pokemon collecting and investing hobby. Today we are talking singles. We're going to start off with one of the best performing singles of all time, especially in the last 5 years. The Moonbreon, the Umbreon, the creme de la creme of Evolving Skies of the Sword and Shield era, the Umbreon VMAX alt secret art. 160% return in the last year on this card. Price does not seem to be a factor on this. Usually we hit a certain price point, typically that 3-figure price point, and it kind of starts to create some resistance, but this one just keeps going up. I think graded versions of this are going for $3,000+ and PSA gem mint 10s. It's just a wild card. It's a beautiful card. It is the best card in the Sword and Shield era. And the question really now at this point is how much higher can it go at this point? And the other question is there anything in Scarlet and Violet that's going to give it a run for its money? We certainly have some cards that are appreciating in Scarlet and Violet, but nothing that's holding a candle to the Moonbreon here. So fantastic card, fantastic performance. Continuing on with the Evolving Skies theme, Rayquaza VMAX Alt Art. 121% return in the last year. Interesting look on the chart here. If you look, you see this dip. So you see a peak right around June of 2024 and then a dip for a while. So if you've been in the hobby long enough, you know in the spring we were still really in a bull market for Sword and Shield, and then things kind of died off for Sword and Shield as a lot of the money focused on the Scarlet and Violet era, and you can see money starting to pour back into Sword and Shield here now that Scarlet and Violet has kind of appreciated both from a singles and sealed standpoint. So and you'll see this the same kind of chart here across multiple cards from the Sword and Shield era. Always interesting to see some synchronicity between charts from individual cards and even sealed products in different eras, as we can see that money, the pattern of money move around as things change and time changes. It's weird, and of course there's things happening from a collecting, a buyout, and a psychology standpoint behind the scenes that are driving these things, and this is kind of a symptom, and seeing it chart out like this is pretty interesting. Sylveon VMAX from Evolving Skies, same kind of pattern here on the chart. Beautiful 86% return last year. Evolving Skies, multiple cards in the 3-figure range. Expensive cards, doesn't matter. These are drying up. People don't seem to care about the price. They're essentially gobbling cards up in Sword and Shield before they're gone. And before people just get priced out because there's quite a bit of age on this product. We're really not seeing much in the way of Evolving Skies come to market from pack standpoint. It's very expensive to open, so it's going to be hard to drive additional single population via cracking of packs in the future into the market. Leafeon, again, same pattern, beautiful 98% return in the last year. These are not in any particular order today, by the way. And it's quite hard to find any card, any singles or sealed product from either Sword or Shield or Scarlet and Violet that hasn't risen. It's that same quote, rising tides lift all boats, and that's exactly what's happening here. Everything is up. It was very, very hard to find anything that was down or even flat in this bull market. Going on a Lost Origin here, Giratina, interesting, different set, same era, same kind of pattern here. We see that dip in the late summer and early fall here of 2024. Beautiful 117% return this year. Not my favorite art. It's kind of busy for me, but obviously the market disagrees with me. $527 market price, 117% return in the year. Only 21 listings here on this card. Lost Origin, fantastic set. Certainly in competition for the second place spot in the Sword and Shield era. Gengar VMAX on an absolute tear, especially lately. Look at that chart. It's just almost straight up here. 141% return in the last year, sitting at $500 market price. Only 15 of these available on TCG Player. This is an absolutely beautiful card. This is a very different artwork in comparison to almost anything from the Sword and Shield era, and it's absolutely beautiful in person. So this is, I think, a very deserving. It's a card that absolutely deserves recognition. It's finally getting it, and it is disappearing hard. Fusion Strike booster boxes. I went over them in the sealed sealed video we did. recently on Fusing Strike, giving it an update, and it just keeps going up. It's actually hard to keep tabs on the market price of some of these boxes in the Sword and Shield era because it's moving daily now at this point. Actually, Evolving Skies, as of the recording this video, the lowest sealed booster box price for Evolving Skies was now $1,000. So big milestone there. Blaziken from Chilling Rain, not holding a candle to any of these other singles we talked about from Sword and Shield, but still a nice 80% increase in the last year. $300 market price. Again, these cards are just drying up quickly from Sword and Shield, and I think that's really it's created I would call an accumulation phase for Sword and Shield. I think everything from Sword and Shield is fairly safe. We have seen a few reprints or restocks, but really nothing to quelch any kind of demand. So there's really no reason to think that some of this won't continue. Lugia V from Silver Tempest doing quite well, 64% return in last year. Silver Tempest just went out of stock recently in the on Pokemon Center, and booster boxes are starting to hit that $200 price point. Will probably continue from there. So one of the better cards from Silver Tempest doing really well. On to Crown Zenith. It's a favorite for some here. This Pikachu Secret from Crown Zenith. Beautiful card. I have one of these. It's absolutely gorgeous. A lot available on TCG Player, but really nice return in the last year. 15, only cheap card if you're looking to pick it up. I think it's an adorable card. I have one. Really cheap pickup. A nice little return from a low of around $6 here in 2024. Almost a straight shot up there. That was right around Black Friday as market gobbled a bunch of these out. Crown Zenith, absolutely phenomenal set from Sword and Shield. Another one from Crown Zenith, the Gutina V Star, 155% return in the last year, $192 on this card. Finally, Crown Zenith getting a love. It's always had love, but we're finally seeing the fruits of that love. With cards drying up, the reprints have finally slowed down to pretty much a stop, other than the Sea and Sky collection that we continue to see pushed out to market. But it's really not doing much to singles prices at this point. Another beautiful card from Crown Zenith Galarian Gallery, Mewtwo V Star, 116% return in the last year, sitting right at that 3-figure mark here. Again, Crown Zenith is a phenomenal set. If you haven't gotten singles or haven't gotten sealed product, get some while you can if you love the set, because the market's finally realizing it. It's starting to age, and it's going to continue to go up. Looking at some of the promo cards from the Scarlet and Violet era, really a lot of the big appreciation was in promo cards this year, specifically some of the stamped cards from the Pokemon Center ETBs. I keep talking about that, and it's because it's really outperforming everything else in the Scarlet and Violet market at this point. The Charmander we see here, promo card from the Obsidian Flames ETB. This is actually the regular one, and it's had a beautiful 260% uptick in the last year. A cheap card, again, another one if you want to pick this up. I think it's a cute card. It's adorable. You got multiple Pokemon in here. You got angry Pikachu looking out the window, pissed he can't go and get after those birds here. Beautiful card. And of course we have the Pokemon Center stamped version. Remember, the only difference between the promos in the Pokemon Center ETB versus the regular ETB, it's the same promo. You just get that little stamp, the Pokemon Center stamp there, but the market has absolutely gone crazy over that stamp. It is a collector's item. They're rare. The only way to get them is to crack a $60 ETB from the Pokemon Center. So it's done very well for the Pokemon Center stamped singles as well as the Pokemon Center ETBs themselves. $123. So that goes from a regular card, regular version, okay, same foiling and everything like that. The only difference is that little stamp right there, okay? $15 card to a $123 card. This card has had a 400% increase in last year. As far as I can tell, I could be wrong on this. Based on my research, this is one of the best performing cards out of either Sword and Shield or the Scarlet and Violet era. I may have missed a card, maybe even a cheaper one that did better than that, but I could not find anything that did that well in this period of time. And obviously the Obsidian Flames Pokemon Center ETB is one of the best sealed performing products of the year. So just this is absolutely referendum on Pokemon Center ETBs being a significantly good investment going forward. If you have them, please hold on to them if you can. If money allows it, I think long term they will be the collector item from the Scarlet and Violet era. Another promo from Pokemon Center exclusives here in the Scarlet and Violet era. Snorlax doing well, almost a 300% return last year, sitting at $130. Again, just another vote of confidence from the market that these Pokemon Center stamped versions of cards are hot. And again, that bodes very, very well from a sealed standpoint. I do not spec in cards. I collect cards because I think they're awesome, because I think they're collectible, not just for the appreciation aspect. I mean, I like having value in the cards, but the goal is just to hold them and just enjoy them and flip through the binder and appreciate them. But the Pokemon Center stamp cards do very, very well for the long-term prospects of these Pokemon Center ETBs. It causes cracking of those Pokemon Center ETBs when there really was, previously to this stamp promo, there was no reason to crack a Pokemon Center ETB. There's nothing special inside. This causes cracking, which decreases the Pokemon Center sealed ETB population, which from an investor standpoint is what we want, right? That creates scarcity. Yet another one, this Mewtwo, this is from Paldean Fates Pokemon Center ETB. Actually, does this beat out the Charmander? Yes, it does, actually. Not as high of a market price, but from a return standpoint in the last year, 472% return in the last year. The Paldean Fates was overlooked for quite a while. It's a phenomenal set. We're going to talk about some of the singles here in a second. The market's finally realizing in that, and again, the market's finally turning on the Pokemon Center stamp versions of cards here, and that's what an absolutely beautiful card. As cheap as $4 this year to a $40 card. Very, very hard to see that kind of return in anything. Again, I don't suggest people spec on cards, but from a, it does not hurt to pick up Pokemon Center stamp cards in the future, but the market, I think the ship has kind of sailed a little bit on that. The market realizes that these are hot. All Pokemon Center ETBs are going to sell out very, very, very quickly for the foreseeable future. The market has realized this. Pikachu Gray Felt Hat, one of my favorite cards. There's a lot of crap that went on with this and availability, and you remember crashes on the Pokemon Center website. It was not a good experience to get one. However, it is a beautiful card. It's just out there. It's different. I have one of these grade 10. It was very easy to get a Gem Mint 10 on these in a slab. Very, very easy to get it. I think the population, the Gem Mint 10 population on these from PSA is quite high as a percentage, but absolutely beautiful card. There was a lot of these available. A lot of them are sold on TCG Player, but these are starting to dry up. This is just a great collector's piece. I own one. It's never going anywhere. It's in my collection. I absolutely love it. I actually had a couple of them. I gave one to a friend, and I wish I just kept them because, yeah, it's just a beautiful card. Absolutely beautiful card. Another massive increase here in promo, Scarlet Violet promo card from I can't remember which ETB this is in. This is a regular version too, $18 card, so still fairly cheap. But these are ones where you kind of very cheap pickups, but have great returns. Most people's binders in 2024 have increased in value substantially. There's almost nothing out there that has not increased in some way, shape, or form. Very few things are even flat. Not everything's getting a 400% increase like this in the year, but if you're tight on money and you gotta sell, again, I suggest holding long term, but this is the time to do it. Everything is up. Bubble Mew from Paldean Fates. Again, this was over. Look how long this was flat for. It was flat for a significant period of time at the $90 price point here, and it's now up to $267 on TCG Player. Again, Paldean Fates has multiple cards in the triple-digit range. It was readily available for at MSRP of about $50 or under for quite a while, and the market's only recently started to go up on it. Greninja from Twilight Masquerade. This one was slept on. Look at the chart. I shouldn't say slept on. It was slept on right after release, but this was the Greninja very much started a bit of a fire in the Scarlet and Violet market. It was, you can almost draw a clear line when Twilight Masquerade came out and started to go up. The singles started to go up. Booster boxes started to go up, and that's really when that attention here started to shift. Right about here, right in July of this year, attention started to shift from Sword and Shield over Scarlet and Violet. Remember, a lot of boxes were about $100 a pop. Twilight Masquerade kind of signaled the market that, hey, there's something here in Scarlet and Violet. And that's when everyone started to realize that, hey, there's some good stuff in Scarlet and Violet. Most of the sets have some really good stuff and have some potential. And again, this isn't just dumb money pouring into Scarlet. I mean, there is probably some dumb money pouring into Scarlet and Violet, but I think the appreciation that we've seen in especially the booster boxes, I think is just. I think there's really good cards there. There's a lot to love. And this Greninja is another one where beautiful 100% return release. Typically we see most foils at some point start to drop. At some point most SIRs drop post release, and this has not. It's just continued to run up. $300 price point here. Not many available on TCG Player, sold beautifully well, and that volume has continued, and just a beautiful card in Twilight Masquerade, which is a really good set too. Charizard RDX from 151, nice 70% return this year. Again, we had that massive run on 151 that again kind of coincided with Twilight Masquerade, where just the money started pouring back into Scarlet and Violet. $200 market price, 70% return in last year. Beautiful card. 151 has seen across the board increases in all of their SIRs. Blastoise as well here, nice 60% return in last year. Look at that straight line up from a low of about $50 up to 73 here. Again, about a $74 price point. Beautiful return. And of course, we're going to look at the Magikarp from Paldea Evolved. Beautiful 200% return in this last year. Again, not my favorite card. I do not like super busy cards like this. But again, market disagrees. Market absolutely loves it. And this was holding up Scarlet and Violet for a while. It was really the only chase card in any of the sets until Twilight Masquerade came along with the Greninja. So this was certainly, I would categorize this as the first real chase card in the Scarlet and Violet era. Wasn't recognized right away. You can see here it took a little while for it to really start to catch on, but it really definitely led the pack for sure. All right, now a few losers. It took way more time to find losers than it did to find winners. It's almost an across the board increase of cards here from both Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet. Iono from Paldean Fates. I don't know what the story is here. I don't. It's just a really quite expensive card of $60. About that post-release time frame, and just kind of just dumped here and flattened out. Got cut over in half. Again, tell me in the comments if there's a reason for that other than just the market shifted and it was weird. One of the other cards I saw that took a little bit of a dump this year was Erica's Invitation from Scarlet and Violet 151. 15% loss this year. Again, I don't know the reason behind it. Just kind of really hard to find cards that have tanked. This one was interesting. I would have called, I was talking about this before Surging Sparks came out here. Skarmory from Surging Sparks, I thought was a dead ringer for a really solid card from Surging Sparks. I have one myself. I made sure to buy it post-release, just to have one for the collection. But yeah, it took a 50% tank here post-release. A lot of cards in Surging Sparks have maintained or increased in value post-release, and this just isn't one of them. It's really just because it's an illustration rare. Right? There's just so many of them on the market. The demand's just not gonna be there for it like an SIR is. But yeah, one of my favorite cards. Rapid Strike Urshifu from Battle Styles VMAX here. I love this card, and this one just flat. Again, I'm just trying to find something that's sort of lost this year because it's really hard. And again, I think it's a beautiful card. I think it'll do well long term. It's just nothing. The market hasn't recognized it, and the market's really picking up everything right now. And that's it for our winners and losers on singles this year for 2024. Again, just to recap from a sealed and single standpoint, phenomenal year. All indication is that it's going to continue into 2025. If you have some appreciation on some of your products, especially if you have multiple singles or multiple boxes of a set, if you liquidate a couple of them to kind of cover your cost basis for everything, now's the time to do it if it's within your plan, right? Try not to emotionally invest if you can. A lot of my product from both Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet really hasn't hit the point where I really want to liquidate it yet. I still think there's some upside potential. It hasn't really hit my 5-year plan yet. But again, if your plan is to liquidate soon, now would be the time. I think the only question there, I think, is Scarlet, Sword and Shield. How much higher can some of those booster boxes go? How much higher can some of those singles go? We don't really know. I mean, we got the Moon Round that just keeps trucking. It's over 1,000. It's on its way to 2,000. Dare I say it? Again, I don't think anything is there to stop it. I think if it hits that that you know, the 4-digit number, I think, you know, we've had Umbreon over 4 digits for a while now. So I think from, you know, you've hit that psychological barrier and blown through it. I think there's really nothing stopping it at this point. It's going to bring the booster box price up with it. So absolutely beautiful year. Looking forward to 2024. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe if you like what we're doing. Happy New Year, and we will see you on the next one.